Welcome to another episode of Grassroots Racer, everyone. Although I haven't been doing much racing in Formula V lately, while the engine is having a fresh rebuild, I hope I hope to get back out there doing Motorkhanas with the Bendigo Car Club soon. So stay tuned for that. Look forward though to speaking to tonight's guest, who is an apprentice mechanic, and he's done a lot of rally, not only in Australia but overseas as well. And you might be able to give me some tips as I do my Motorkhanas, autocrosses, etc. So it's a big welcome to Taylor Gill. How are you tonight, Taylor?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. Good. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure having you on. Normally I like to ask what got you into motorsport. So how did it all start for you?
It was all through my dad. He was, grew up or spent his teenage years growing up in New Zealand and lived in the same town as Possum Born. So it was it all grew from that. And then he got into co-driving and that sort of thing, and then driving in New South Wales just in an old Gemini when I was really young. So then obviously had to get out of it for kids and family and that sort of thing. And then when I turned 7, started go karting, and it all kind of snowballed from that.
Yeah, my dad's a big fan of Possum Vaughan. Obviously he's told me that I gotta drive like him out on the rally track. So,
Yep.
but you did a bit of karting. So do you have any memories from the that time?
Yeah, heaps, absolutely. Yeah. I raced karts for 6 years, or 7 years. Got my license the day I turned 7 on my birthday. So that was pretty cool. And then won my club championship, local club championship. Won Tasmanian state titles, and a few other kind of one-off events, and had some good results here and there, and a bit of everywhere as well. So heaps of memories. Like, meet really cool people, and it's just good because it gives me it gave me a base knowledge of driving and car control and racecraft and just maturity in motorsport from a young age. So it was really, really cool.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a lot of achievements in racing go-karts. Have you got any unique stories that you're willing to share?
I rolled my go-kart at Puckapunyal when I was only must have been 9 years old. That was kind of scary. Just it was my first race in Victoria. It was Victorian state titles in 2013, and just a couple of cars got tangled up in front of me, and then I tried to go around the outside of everything, and I thought, yeah, sweet, this will work. And then someone came across in front of me, and I went straight
Oh,
over the back of them, and rolled and ended up on the gravel trap just before the bus stop there. So that was a bit scary, let's say.
yeah. So did you get out of it all right, or did you unfortunately land the wrong way up?
Yeah, I landed the wrong way up. And I remember when the cart dug in, it jammed the throttle wide open. And when I was getting out, I hit my head on the rear wheel spinning like a million miles an
Oh,
hour. So I remember my helmet had two big rubber marks on it. But I managed to get out pretty quickly. I was really winded, and it was the first time I'd ever been winded before. I didn't even know what that was. So all I'm thinking is, okay, this is bad. Like, I can't breathe, and I'm trying to get my helmet off, and my ribs were really sore. So it was pretty nasty. But thankfully my mum and dad were on the other side of the track, and they didn't see it. So I mean, if they had seen it, then I probably wouldn't be here today because the go kart might have been sold.
right.
So it was pretty scary.
Yeah. I remember my mum wasn't a huge fan of me doing go-karting. Because it's scary. What if he gets hurt?
Yeah,
Dad, on the other hand, said if it's really what you want to do, I don't really care. Oh,
yeah,
not that he doesn't care, but he goes, just
yeah, yeah.
give it
It's a
your
lot
best
safer
shot.
than motocross.
Yeah, 100%. But what was
Yeah.
the transition to cars, and where did you get started?
So when I turned 12, we looked at a couple of different cars, and Dad, being a fan of Possum Born, obviously always a fan of the Subarus, as you can see.
Mm,
And so we bought a GC8 WRX. It was just a road car. We paid five grand for it at the time, which is dirt cheap
mm,
now. Um, and we just started doing motorcanas, carnacrosses. From the age of 12, we did a year when I was 12 of doing the motorcanas and the carnacrosses as well as racing go karts. So we did sort of a
mm.
bit of both. And then we dropped the go karts the following year. Just did all the car stuff. So just motorcanas, carnacrosses. Like, as you know, that's all you can really do in a car
Mm.
at 12, 13 years of age. And we just slowly progressed with the car. Like we started off with a basic road car, and then we just did things like we put some suspension in it, and then we put some seats in it, and then we put harnesses in it and a roll car. And just slowly, you put tires on it and that sort of thing. And then, it just, as I said, like it just snowballed from there. So then, started doing autocrosses when I turned 14 and rally sprints and things like that. And then, it all just keeps plottering along until where I am now.
Yeah, I've got a Hyundai Getz, which I first started out in. It was a cheap thing, and Dad just said, "Why don't you do some, Motorkhanas and stuff?" So I did it. And then only recently I just got a GC8 Impreza, not a Rex, unfortunately. But we can build from that. So yeah, I've just got it and slowly working on it.
Yeah, they're good cars to learn in, especially a non-turbo one. Like ours, the one we got was WRX, so it was turbo, so it was probably a bit intimidating. It was a big step for me as a 12-year-old to go and do, but it meant that I learned very quickly. But getting a non-turbo car is good because it teaches you the right habits. You got to be able to hold the road speed and things like that. So yeah, good memories of the days doing Motorkhanas. I remember I was never strong enough to pull the handbrake, so Dad would sit in the passenger seat and he'd clutch, and he'd pull the handbrake, and then he'd drop it, and then I'd power out, and then clutch, and he'd pull the handbrake, and so it was good fun.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough that I've got a hydraulic one in the Subaru. So in the Hyundai, I had to manually do it with the old one. But what I ended up doing was, Dad told me about this. I got the button, pushed it in, and got the drill and drilled a hole through it and put a screw in there so it locks on.
Yeah, yep. So you don't have to worry about the button.
Yeah. Bit, it can be a bit on and off sometimes. It still sticks on a little bit, but now I got the hydraulic. Yeah, I got the hydraulic one now, so I shouldn't have that issue.
Yeah, yep.
But have you only ever done driving, or did you ever try doing some navigating?
Not until recently, actually. This year, I was a good mate of ours who comes and services for us and known for a little while now. Actually, my dad was supposed to navigate for him at a rally, sort of throwing it back to his day a bit, and he came down sick a couple of days before the event. So I jumped in and absolutely loved it. Like, had a ball. It was so much fun, and it was cool to see the sport from the other seat as well. Being so used to driving, but. Yeah, so I think I've only done one event, and then we tried to do another one and it didn't last very long. So we only made it about 3 kilometers before the gearbox broke, but it was good fun. And I'm so keen to do more of it. Like, it's a lot of drivers don't like navigating because they like being in control and that sort of thing. Whereas, I mean, I think I trust Jake, the guy I was with. But I mean, so long as I'm not paying the bills, I don't really care.
Yeah, like I know lots of people like to, be driving, and it's a lot. It's always good to, be sitting in the seat driving. But to hop in the passenger seat every now and again is, brilliant. A fella down here called Adrian Stratford, I recently hopped in his passenger seat. It was only at a Carnicross event, but I sat in the seat, and he's a pretty quick driver. He had a Festiva, I think, and he was just doing some testing at the Carnicross, making sure it was all good. So, people were doing a few passenger rides, so I jumped in for one. And it's great to sit in the passenger seat every now and again. That it can be a bit tricky.
The GC8 that he was driving at the start of this year, that he won a couple of rallies in, that was actually our old car. That was my old car.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So there you go. It's a bit of a connection.
Yeah, so do you know him? Well, have you raced against him and stuff like that, or did he just?
I've never raced against him, but I went for. I met him at Brendan Reeves' farm. He was testing out there, out at Wedderburn, and so I met him there, and I went for a ride with him, and that was when he still had his Fiesta, Ford Fiesta. That was a quick car, and like he could steer as well. But I've never competed against him. But then, spoke to him a lot since he bought our car at the start of this year, and then he's since sold it since then. But so I've known him for a couple of years now.
Yeah, he's been doing a few projects, and he's a good driver. So it's great to see what it's like from the passenger side. But I'm guessing you do prefer driving, But do you actually prefer to drive on dirt now? That you've updated karts and you've been doing a lot of rally.
Yeah, I do. I prefer to drive on dirt. Like the sensation of driving on gravel
Mm.
is like you can't beat it. But having said that, I love circuit racing. I still love tarmac. If ever I've got the opportunity to jump in a race car or cut laps of a racetrack or even in a go kart, even just like the local hire karts, like I love it and I'll always
Mm.
jump at the opportunity. But yeah, banging a well sorted car down a gravel road, like nothing beats that feeling.
Yeah, man. I can agree with you. I haven't gone really that fast though. I think the fastest I've gone is about 90 k's on the dirt.
Yeah, still.
With the carnocrosses. But yeah, I know it can get pretty wild sometimes.
Yeah.
The only problem with the gets was when it would rain and it'd be muddy, it'd go nowhere. Um,
Yeah, I bet.
yeah. So now that we got the Subaru, I'm hoping, but because I'm a junior, I can't have all-wheel drive, so I just gotta do rear-wheel
Oh,
drive for
really?
now.
Is that what the rules
Yeah,
are down there?
yeah.
Yeah,
Is it
okay.
a bit different up
Yeah,
there?
that
Or?
was never a problem when I was a junior. He was just classed as a junior no matter what you're in. So I think there
Mm,
was one club that didn't class you as a junior if you're in a full drive car, but no, apart from that, it was
mm.
yeah, you're always just a junior.
Oh yeah, I don't think. Well, I wouldn't really mind if I was a junior or not. If I had an all-wheel drive, I'd probably be wanting to race with the older blokes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd have to build up my car a lot more. Two of those guys out there, they've got national level cars, but
Mm.
it's hard for them to get the funds together to actually do the national racing.
Yeah.
Uh, but it does take a bit to actually get the car to that level.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Mm. The cage I've heard is sometimes a few bars between state and national.
Yeah, there is
Um,
usually.
mm,
Yeah, there's different specs depending on club and state and national and then international level as well.
all right, international level.
Yeah, but
What's your car at in general?
yeah, it's pretty top spec for a Subaru production car. So yeah, the car's got a lot of history. It's been through a lot of phases, I guess. But um, yeah, it'd be one of the best sort of GD chassis Subaru rally cars in the country, no doubt. So yeah, it's a good thing. Like it's got all the right gear. It's got it's got an international spec cage in it, logbook cage, and it's got a sequential and it's a well built engine and good diffs, good suspension, everything. Yeah, it's a really well thought of package.
Mm. And what did it take? And like how long did it take you to do that? Because it took me about 2 years to get my Hyundai to where it is now. It's still not a great car, but how long did it take you to get to it?
Uh, to be honest, not really that long with the car we've got now because we bought it at the start of the year, and when we bought it, we knew it was already pretty sorted. Like a lot of people had kind of done all the hard work. So yeah, we just jumped in, and it was only a few real minor changes, and then
Mm.
apart from that, we haven't really changed the car that much. And yeah, it's a super sorted thing. But when we were running in the old GC8, we were kind of, I was more just learning the driving and just getting used to it and just finishing events. So we didn't really worry so much about the setup of the car and trying to dial it in as such. Like it was solid enough that I could drive it. I could have a bit of a push. But yeah, then getting into this car this year, has kind of opened my eyes to what a well sorted car can actually do and how crucial it is to have a really good setup and be really comfortable in the car.
Yeah. Obviously, you've progressed enough that now you're at the point where, well, I actually have to put a setup on it. I got to take
Yeah.
a bit more. Because you're serious about it now. You're doing a lot of rallies, so there's all these different levels, and
Yeah.
um,
But
um,
as you say, like when you're younger and you're starting out and you're learning the ropes, so just learning about the driving, like you don't have to
mm,
worry about any of that. Whereas then all of a sudden you get to a point and then you need to start, like you can get to this far, but then it's getting to this far. That's where, things like your setup and, how intense your preparation is. That's where that all kind of really comes into it.
yeah. About preparation, what sort of spares would you bring on a weekend? Obviously, you'd bring a few tires and
Yeah. So we have a tire limit of 12 for an ARC round for our class. So, yeah, they have the tire truck there and they'll give us the 12 tires. But as far as what we take to a rally, it's pretty basic, really. It's all budget dependent, but we'll take obviously fuel, sort of 4 or 5 60-litre drums of fuel. And then, yeah, we just have like some spare arms. We have spare brakes, little things like power steering pumps, alternators, starter motors, like just miscellaneous seals. Like you just carry like bags of bolts just in case you got to rig something up. But yeah, we have a spare diff as well. But apart from that, that's really it compared to some of probably the other teams that are taking spare gearboxes, spare engines, yeah, all the rest of it, spare panels, things like that, which we don't carry.
So you're saying some of the top guys, they basically bring another car in parts, would you say
Yeah,
almost?
yeah, pretty well. Like even vet supercars, a lot of the teams will bring enough parts and bolts and just washers, even just down to the nitty gritties to basically rebuild a whole car from scratch. So yeah, there's definitely teams in rallying that do that. But the good thing with our sport is it's so
Hmm.
like the camaraderie is great. Like if we need a spare that we don't have, and especially a Subaru, they're a very common car. We can go to Joe Blogg over there and say, "Hey mate, have you got a windscreen wiper motor, for example?"
Mm.
Yeah, no dramas. I'll dig through, and you've kind of got one, so it's really good for that.
Yeah, I know some race cars on the circuit have just one sort of big wiper. What do you guys use?
Yeah,
Do you just leave the two in there and travel with that?
yeah, it's just the two. Like the thing with a rally car is it's because we have to drive them on the road, and the circumstances are a bit different. They have to still be like ergonomical. So even things like indicators, we still have the normal indicator stalks and wiper stalks behind the steering wheel,
Mm.
just because it works. You know what I mean? So yeah, but it's just normal windscreen wipers.
Yeah, with my Hyundai, I put a new steering wheel kit on it, and the steering
Yep.
wheel was so much closer that every time I turn, if my head moves forward a bit, I always flick on the wipers or
Yeah.
the
Yep. Been there before, done that before.
yeah. Apparently, according to some people, you're not a rally driver unless you do that.
Yeah, yeah. It's not uncommon to see videos of rally drivers coming into a corner and they've got their blinker on or something like that.
Yeah. But just tell me a little bit when you were selected to compete as a part of the FIA Rally Stars program through Motorsport Australia.
Yeah, so the way they did the selections was you could either do like a slalom challenge, which I actually don't think they ran any of in Australia, or it was simulator based on the WRC9 game. WRC9, yeah, WRC9. And you could qualify there at certain events, and they ran like a final in Melbourne, um, or it was as a wild card. So like I'd been looking at the program, and I was gonna go down to Melbourne and do the digital thing, but at the same time I wasn't really keen on the whole digital idea. And then I got a phone call one day from a lady who works, or doesn't work, but is part of the Rally New South Wales. So yeah, basically each state had to put someone forward to be a wild card, and then Motorsport Australia did interviews with us, and then I was lucky enough to get picked as a wild card, so I didn't have to do the simulator thing. So I was pretty happy about that I skipped the whole sim thing.
Have you actually got a simulator yourself that you do a bit of training on?
Yeah, I do have a simulator, but I probably wouldn't say I train on it. It's nothing serious. Like it's just a stand, and it's just an old Logitech G29 that all the grips come off, and I've retaped it with like tennis racket tape and things like that. But it's more to jump on for a laugh kind of thing. It is good, and you can pick up kind of the basic techniques.
Mm.
But it's so much harder with rallying to translate simulator into real life, because you're just always driving like through your ass what you feel in the seat, whereas you don't get that in a simulator, as opposed to
Mm.
like a racetrack where you can jump on the sim and you go, okay, I'm racing at Winton next week, so I'll go on the sim and I'll load up Winton and I'll do 100 laps. You know what I mean? Like you can't do that with rallying, so it makes it difficult. But yeah, it's good to just jump on and have a
Mm.
laugh with my mates.
Yeah, and I know with rally, like when you hit a bump, like your body does a lot of that.
Yeah,
In the
yeah,
simulator, it's just the wheel sort of shakes. That's about it.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, obviously you do get the feeling from underneath your ass,
Yeah,
when you're driving. Um, but what was the experience like when you did go over to India, I believe it was, and you
yeah.
had to go?
Yeah, it was really good. It was probably the most intense 3 days of my career, I guess, to date. Yeah, we went over. Even just India as a place is like so far from Australia, like just so far from normality. It's such a big step out of the comfort zone. It's really cool to see a place like that. Like, I don't think you'd see me holidaying there anytime soon. But you know, it was cool to see the culture, and it makes you realize how lucky we actually are in Australia.
Mm.
But yeah, went over and did the 3 days over there, and yeah, as I say, it was super intense. The little cross carts that we had to drive were so hard to drive. The hardest thing I've ever driven by far, but it makes them the perfect cart to distinguish who's good and who's not. You know what I mean? Because they're so hard
Yeah.
to drive. So yeah, and the courses they set up were really tricky. So yeah, it was a really cool 3 days, but yeah, super intense. Like, lots of pressure, and it's the time in my time of motorsport where I felt under the most pressure by far. So, and it's just because you know what's at stake. Like, you know how big
Yeah.
the prize is. So yeah, I just got to go out and do it and hope, I guess.
Yeah. It was, if I went to that Ferrari Academy thing that they had, I know there
Oh,
was
yeah.
it's a lot of money and a lot of a time you got to put on the line to go to that. But if I was to go to it, I would know that, your career could possibly be along this.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so obviously, you went over there and had a lot of fun. I've just got a quick question though. With AS, did you have navigators, and did they assign them, or could you bring your own?
No, so it was no navigators because it was all just in a little cross cart buggy. So
Oh,
they're
right.
just like
Yeah.
a single seater thing with a motorbike engine. So yeah, no navigators, and they set up. Day one was like a little 800-meter track. So it was almost like, it was pretty well like a Motorkhana actually. Um, Day two was similar sort of setup, but we would do like 2 laps of the track instead of just one. And then day three was when they opened it up. It was 3Ks. It was like we could get the carts up to sort of fourth gear and get a bit more speed. And yeah, there was a lot more to it. So yeah, but yeah, no navigators, but the carts they were good fun to drive once we could open them up a bit.
Mm. So, what did you really think of it as the experience? Like, would you take it? Which is something you'd recommend for drivers who maybe wanted to have a go at it, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's just the tuition you get from it, and even just the learning. Like, I remember they're going into the interview, which is the last thing they do with it. And there's 5 judges on the jury panel, and they've all got like 2 A4 pages of notes written just about you, what you've been doing, who you've been talking to, how you're acting, are you kind to the cart, all these sorts of things. So, and they're critical. You know, if you're not doing something good, they tell you, hey, you're not doing this good, and you need to change it. So it's really good for that sort of thing. And yeah, like, even for me, probably the biggest thing I took was just like working under pressure. Like, I'd never felt like I'd had that sort of pressure on me before, especially on the last day. Everyone had to do 2 runs, and they picked 6 of us to go out and do a third run, do an extra run, and
Mm.
I was one of the 6. I was actually the last to go of the 6, and you're just sitting there in these cars, hard to drive, just thinking, don't stall it, because they were really hard to get off the line. And you're looking up and you can see all the judges standing there. Everyone's standing there watching you. They've got their clipboards, they've got their stopwatches, and like, you just know, like, if I make a mistake, then this could all be for nothing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So yeah, it was a good learning. That was the biggest thing I took, probably, was the dealing with the pressure side of things.
Yeah. Obviously, having all them people watching would definitely make you nervous. But where are you planning on going from here? Will you continue to compete in rally over here? Would you like to go overseas? What's sort of on the cards?
Yeah, there's a lot of planning to do on that front. Yeah, look, we're weighing up at the moment, whether to move overseas or to stay in Australia. I love Australia, obviously. I love where I live, and I'd never want to leave here. But as well as that, like, it's my boyhood dream, and I've got to follow it over to Europe. So I'm keen to travel as well. So it'd be cool to roll all those things into one. So yeah, working all that out now. If stay in Australia or move overseas, because I mean, if I stay in Australia, it's going to be a lot of flying back and forward, but I could potentially do more events. So there's just so much to weigh up. So yeah,
Mm.
that's where we're at the moment. Probably, yeah, just weighing it all up, working it out towards the end of the year.
Yeah, obviously, if you did go and race in Europe as such, would you ever give Rallycross a go, or would you stay on the rally sort of thing, not
No, I'd
Rallycross?
love to actually. I'd be so keen on rallycross because I can mix rally driving, I guess, driving on
Mm,
gravel, as well as driving on tarmac and racing, like wheel to wheel racing, which I
yeah,
haven't done properly since I was racing go karts. So,
yeah.
yeah, I'd love to, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big year next year with doing 6 rallies overseas and moving around a lot. So yeah, definitely later down the track, I'd be keen. I mean, there was a bit of rallycross going on in Australia for a little while, a couple of years back, but yeah, that's sort of died off for now. Hopefully that comes back. That'd be cool. And yeah,
Mm.
it's something I'd be interested in. Like I always just say to people, like anything driving related, like sign me up. I'm interested. Whether it's drifting, racing go-karts, racing cross karts, rallycross, rallying, whatever it is, I'm always keen. Doing track days, like you never have to ask if I'm interested in doing this because I'm always interested.
It shows that you got a lot of passion, man. But have you ever driven anything on the circuit since go-karting, or not yet?
Yeah, I have not a great deal. When we had our GC8, I did a couple of tarmac rally sprints. So they were cool. Actually, more recently, only a couple of months ago, I drove a Peugeot, like a 206 hatchback thing, at a cheap car challenge event just near home, or only sort of a couple of hours up the road. And that was good fun. Unfortunately, I only got about 10 minutes in qualifying, and then one of the other guys started the race because you had four drivers. Yeah, one of the other guys started the race, and we got taken out on lap 2, so that didn't last very long.
Mm.
And then even as late as last night, I was supposed to be driving a different GT8 just at a super sprint. And yeah, unfortunately, the clutch went before I got to drive it, so that was disappointing.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, got a little bit lined up doing another weekend in that Peugeot this month now. So yeah, so as I said, like I just love it. I'm keen to do anything. So yeah, it's definitely something I want to do a lot more of. But you just got to weigh up your time and your money.
Yeah, you seem keen, man. And I hope, you can do a little bit more on the circuit as well as, staying on the dirt. But do you have a favorite rally driver that you aspire to be like? Like, we know your dad was a huge Possum Vaughan fan. What about yourself? Any other drivers or still Possum?
I wouldn't say I have a one idol as such or one person I look up to. I look up to different drivers for different things. Like, okay, talking Australian based, like Possum Born, like the personality he had. That's what sort of gets everyone about him. But as far as his driving style, my driving style is not really like Possum's. If we're talking from a driving style sense, I more look up to like Neil Bates.
Mm,
He was very
yeah.
smooth and like super critical, and like just really clinical. Like as I said, super smooth, tidy, not sideways, just trying to be fast, clip every apex, run, just as wide as you can, sort of thing. So that's more where I look, which is kind of like that French driving style in a rallying sense, like Sebastian Loeb kind of style of keeping it super straight, super tidy, compared to like Colin McRae, who was all about sideways and exciting. And it is exciting, but for me, I like going fast. So whatever's the fastest, that's when I'm having the most fun.
Well, Sebastian Loeb is very successful, so I don't doubt that his driving style works.
Yeah.
Um, but you've also done some mechanical work. When did you go for your apprenticeship, and are you still working on that?
Yeah, so I started that at the start of last year. So I'm coming on to being a third year now in a couple of months, apprentice mechanics. So yeah, the reason behind that, I mean, I've worked on our own cars at home. And yeah, I was just super keen to learn as well. Like I wanted to be able to just know every system of a car inside out, so that if I am out in the middle of the bush rallying and something goes wrong, I can go, okay, yep, that's that. Don't even have to think about it, and you just change it or do what you can. Whereas there are drivers out there who have just got no idea mechanically, and something breaks, and they just go, oh well, I don't know what to do. So, and it helps because if you understand how things work, you're naturally like kinder on the car because you understand how things work and where the limit of parts are. So yeah, so I love it. Like I'm super keen to even just travel the world. Being a motorsport mechanic would be so cool.
Yeah. And we kind of discussed it a little bit before, but what is your ultimate goal in motorsport?
I mean, like everyone, or like most young guys like me, like especially with this opportunity I've got now, my goal is to go to the World Rally Championship. Like, yeah, it's obviously a long way away, but all of a sudden, especially winning the Rally Star program, was like a big leap forward. Otherwise, it's so hard to come from Australia. But yeah, I've always, like I just said a second ago, I love to just travel the world, being a motorsport mechanic, working for race teams, working for rally teams. So um, I guess everyone who tries to make a career in motorsport, a lot of people say you need to have a fallback. So for me, my fallback would be still traveling the world, but yeah, just working on cars, working for race teams and stuff. But yeah, obviously, I want to travel the world going rallying.
Yeah, man, that's really respectable, and I could respect that you want to go work on cars. It's still pretty cool, You might not be racing, but you're working on the cars. But do you have any sponsors or supporters you'd like to thank? And where can the viewers find you on social media to keep up with your racing?
Yeah, absolutely. Got a couple of sponsors. Yeah, Curiositi Learning Technology. They're up the side of the car, and they've been a long time supporter of mine, even since I was racing go karts. And then yeah, we've got a couple other ones like Forza brakes, giving us some brake rotors so we can make sure we pull up when I'm going in a bit too hot, which is somewhat often. And then yeah, just a local Jack's Tyres who are doing wheel alignments for us, and RallySport magazine who give me plenty of help with media and promotion and that sort of thing. And then Ryder Racing, who I actually work for, helped me out a lot with parts and things like that. So yeah, but I'm on all the usual Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, just Taylor Gill and Taylor Gill Motorsport. Got a website as well, so you can check that out. So yeah, all the usual, everything except Twitter.
Yep. Right. So thank you so much for speaking to me tonight, Taylor. It's been awesome hearing about your achievements so far, and I can't wait to see how you continue to progress. If anyone out there's racing this weekend, remember to drive fast and take chances safely, of course. Thank you so much, Taylor, for taking time out of your day to come speak to me, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Cool. Thanks, mate. That was awesome.